beautiful, welcome back to my channel. My name is Bettina. I'm the makeup enthusiast. In today's video, I'm bringing you my next update on my project level up. I have a very exciting update to share with you today, and today we are leveling up, so stay tuned. Towards the end of the video, you're going to find out what palette I'm going to be working on for level 6, what palette you guys voted on in the last update. So if that interests you at all, then stay tuned. But before we get into the video, if you are new around here and you love watching project panning videos or any other beauty related content, make sure you subscribe down below. And without further ado, let's jump on in to the update. For those of you that are new to Project Level Up is a project pan, but it's a eyeshadow based project pan. So it was created by Sofie Alexandra. She created the project. It's basically like a combination of pan those eyeshadows and pan that palette, or every pan left behind. It's kind of like a mixture of all of those rolled into one. So basically the premise of the video is you progress up in levels. Each level you have 2 panning goals related to that level. So when you start at level 1, you need to use every pan in that palette at least once, and then you need to hit pan on 1 shadow in that palette. You progress all the way up. You can go as high or as low as you want. I'm currently on level 5, which means I need to use every pan in the palette 5 times, and I need to hit 5 pans. At the last update, I think I had completed my usage goal on every eyeshadow in the palette bar 1. And then I think I had hit 3 pans. Yeah, I think I had hit 3 pans. I'm currently working on the Lisa Eldridge Cinnabar palette. For my level 5 palette, you guys voted on this palette for my level 5 palette. I found out last update that this palette's been discontinued, and I didn't know that at all, which is kind of very sad and disappointing because I actually really quite like this palette. When I use this palette, the looks just look so beautiful. They just blend seamlessly, they blend effortlessly. So I am disappointed to hear that this has been discontinued. But in any event, let's open her up and see how we have gone. So this is what the palette is looking like now. I hope that you can see, but I have actually managed to complete my goal on both the pans. So I've got 5 eyeshadow pans in there, and I have used every shadow in the palette 5 times. I will go through my tracking sheet and share with you how many times I have used each pan since last update and then in total. So starting off with this one here, we have, it was feeling a touch dark. So I've added my other light. Hopefully you'll be able to see those pans a little bit better now. So let's go through the palette. So starting off with Raw Sienna. So last month I had used this one 15 times. Since then I've used it an additional 3 times, making 18 times in total in the project. And as you can see, there's a ginormous pan on that one there. Moving along, this one in the center here is called Bronzite. Now this is my most recent pan. So last month I had used this one 7 times. Since then I have used it an additional 9 times, making 16 in total in the project to get that pan there. Moving across, we have the last one on the top row. This is Fired Earth. Now last month I had a tiny little pan in this one, I believe, but you couldn't really see it all that well. The last one on the top row here, Raw Sienna, I used this one 12 times last month, and I used it an additional 2 times. So I did manage to expand the pan a little bit on this one up the top here. Moving down onto the second row, we have Lost Summer. This one out of the entire palette is the one that I struggled with the most. Now I have only used this one 5 times in total. Last month I had only used it twice, and over the past month I've only used it an additional 3 times. I don't know what it is about this color, but out of everything in the palette, it's just my least favorite color. It's just not a color that I gravitate towards really easily. So for that reason, that's why that's the only shadow now in this palette without a pan. Moving into the center here, we have Deep Ochre. Now, last month I had used this one 10 times and I've only used it an additional 1 time. And then moving to the end here, Ritual, which is the top coat color. Last month I had used it 10 times and I have not used it again since then. So it still sits at only 10 uses in the project. So that is how my palette is looking. She is looking well loved, well used and abused now. I have 5 out of 6 pans in this palette where I've got a pan hit. So I'm very happy to see. I want to say, like, in terms of pans compared to the number of pans in the palette, I think this is probably my highest percentage of pan to palette ratio. So I'm very happy to see that. I do really enjoy this palette. As I said before, I'm sad to see that this has been discontinued. I think there's some beautiful colors in here. Maybe I might have a chance, or maybe Lisa still like sells them as individual shadows. I'm not sure whether the palette in its entirety is being discontinued or the eyeshadows in their entirety are being discontinued, or whether it's just like this particular palette and maybe you can still buy the refills. I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to check that out because there's a few really beautiful shadows in this palette. We have completed level 5. Now I am going to move up to level 6. I think this is going to be my last level for the year, and I also think this might be as high as I'm going to go for project level up. I think once I finish level 6, I'm going to rotate back down to level 1. For level 6, given that I need to hit 6 pans, I have a feeling that it is probably going to take me the rest of the year to hit 6 pans in one palette. Just also given that I'll be working on 6 pans in this palette now, as well as the other shadows in the palette, and combining that with my Pan Those eyeshadows, which I am currently working on 5 shadows. I'm working and trying to hit pan on 11 shadows at the same time. So it's just getting a little bit much. As I'm getting higher up in the project level up, it's making it a little bit more difficult for my Pan Those eyeshadows. All that being said, let's roll on over and see what palette you guys voted for. Just as a reminder, these are the 4 palettes. Ugh, can I hold them in one hand? I don't want to drop them. They're all so precious. These are the 4 palettes that I rolled from my eyeshadow collection to allow you guys to vote for. So let's just go through them quickly and I'll show you. So the first contender was the Melt Vita palette. As a reminder, this is what this one looks like. Then we had the ABH Mon Renaissance. This was my wildcard contender that I threw in as a option. And then the last 2 palettes were actually Glamonatrix Cosmetics palette. So we had the Glamonatrix Sugar and Spice palette. This is what this one looks like. And then last but not least, we had the Glamonatrix Cosmetics Glamorous palette. And this is what that one looks like. So let's go through and I'll share with you guys what you voted for and which palette ended up winning. So in last place with 0 votes was actually the Melt Vita palette. I was actually surprised that this one didn't get a single vote, but unfortunately this one now is going back into my collection. As my option list gets smaller and smaller, we're probably going to start seeing some palettes coming back around for options again. So you guys might have the chance to vote for this again at some point in the future. In second and last place was this palette right here. This is the Glamonatrix Cosmetics Sugar and Spice palette. This was one of the larger palettes out of the options to choose from. So I'm a little bit thankful that I didn't get this one, given that it's 15 shadows. It would have probably taken me a very long time to get through all of those uses. That would have probably been the biggest problem for me, I think, was just trying to get through the uses. Can be difficult. So this one came in second last with only 1 vote. In second place was the Glamonatrix Cosmetics Glamorous palette. This one only got 2 votes, which I was also very surprised about because she's a beauty. She is a beautiful, beautiful palette. I love these like teals and the purple tones, and I think those colors go very well together. So this one unfortunately came in second place with only 2 votes, which means that the one that came in first was the Modern Renaissance, and it's also the oldest out of all of these palettes. So I'm kind of glad that you guys voted for this one. It also means that I might have a chance of hitting my yearly goal on this palette as well. This is the biggest landslide that has happened in this project since I've started introducing the voting option. This one got 15 votes, so I was shocked. After I posted the video, I was getting so many notifications just saying like modern renaissance, modern renaissance, modern renaissance. I was like, I think the modern renaissance has won. I'm gonna work on this one. I'm hoping that I can expand some of these pans. I think with 6 uses, I might be able to, at least maybe with these 4 at the end here, or at least these like brown ones here, I will definitely be able to expand the pan, because looking at it, there's a bit of a area where it's sloped quite a lot, but then the pan is covered a little bit. So I think we'll see the pan expand quite a bit, I reckon, on those brown shadows there. I'm hopeful that I can knock over the pans very quickly, but my problem is going to be these ones here. Where are we? These ones here in this like shape here. The 4 here, these are going to be my biggest 4. There's 5 there. These are going to be my biggest problem because I don't really have any dips on those at all. There's a little dip on like Vermeer and Primavera, but the other ones, there's like hardly any use on them. So those are probably going to take me quite a while to hit pan, just because I don't have really any noticeable progress already on the palette. I do think Realga, which is this one here, as you can see, there's a bit of a dip on that one. I still think that it probably will take me a decent amount to hit pan on Realga, but given it already has a nice like noticeable dip going on, it might not be as much of a challenge as I think it might be, but it is like more of a like orangier shade, so it might be one that will be difficult for me to use regularly. I will keep you updated. I'll let you know. I will continue to update this probably monthly. I'm hopeful that by the next update I can at least have a considerable dint on the 6 uses on all of the pans. I think it might take me maybe 1 or 2 months before I'm able to achieve the 6 uses on all of the pans, and then I think it's going to be a long slog when it comes to hitting pan on the remainder of the 6. I am just aiming to have those done by the end of the year, but I think it's going to be a push. I'm going to have to use this palette a lot if I am going to be anywhere near hitting pan on those 5 shades that I like showed you before that have hardly any use on them. You know what I noticed the other day? There's actually really only 2 what I consider a shimmer. Like Vermeer and Primavera are really the only like 2 true shimmers in my opinion. The other ones are more like a satin, and then like this antique bronze, I think I'm gonna have a lot of trouble using antique bronze regularly. I don't know. Wish me luck on those last 6 pans. I hope that I can find a way to get some good use out of them. And then the rest of the palette, like I said, I want to see, maybe I want to aim for having like by the second update on this palette, all 6 of those uses, or all of the 6 uses across all of the pans complete. So that's my like mini goal within the goal. So I will keep you updated. I'll let you know next month how I'm going on this palette. Wish me luck. Let me know down in the comments box whether you are either trying to pan Modern Renaissance right now. This is always like a popular one for people to pan. Or if you have panned it in the past, I would love to know down in the comments. While you were down there, let me know how you're doing. I would love to hear from you. Make sure you give it a big thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. Subscribe down below if you do want to keep up to date on my progress on this palette. Stay tuned. I'll keep you posted. That's it for this video, beautiful. I hope you're having an absolutely fantastic day, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye, beautiful.